Yes, let's bring on the world of the internet and the quest for the appropriate governance mechanism to guide an industry that has worked its way into our everyday lives and living. Now, finding the right governance, ensuring transparency and trust in such rules and processes are what the experts discussed at the Forum on Internet Governance held in Norway. Here are excerpts from that event.
Digital technology is ever-present and it's inescapable. It influences how we live, work, and socially interact with each other. Don't be panicked when we cannot find our phones. It's our connection to family, work, banking, government services, healthcare, and education. As technology continues to advance and become more intricately entwined, the challenges we face also grow more complex. The blurred lines of data privacy, protection, identity, digital rights, and security. The IGF is that open, safe space for dialogue and the development of policies and best practices on global digital governance. It's more than a forum. It is a community and network of stakeholders that have the common interests of a safe, secure, and sustainable digital future. It's why we are still here after 20 years.
The IGF plays a critical role because it brings all stakeholder groups to the same table. Governments, civil society, businesses, academia, and the technical community. In a time of fast-moving technologies and geopolitical shifts, we need more dialogue, not less. At the RIPE NCC, we see IGF as a space where technical expertise and operational insight can inform global discussions on public policy, regulation, digital trust and infrastructure, and resilience. The decisions made in this space are not abstract, they affect the architecture of the internet. And when all stakeholders are heard, we can avoid fragmentation and ensure the internet remains open, secure and interoperable. That's what makes IGF not just relevant, but essential.
Basically, much as has already been said. If you want to take decisions on how to use digital tools in a way that they benefit all, then you need to have everyone at the table. You need to discuss together, understanding the dependencies of one decision on people that you may not necessarily think of. And the more inclusive such a platform is, the better the decisions, the more balanced. This is why it is necessary, again, to have platforms like the IGF to talk to each other, although we are unfortunately currently living in a time where people think they can take top-down decisions over the heads of others and don't have to integrate their people, not build their decisions on facts. But I think we should not be too impressed by this and just stick to our beliefs and values and continue to have a dialogue and hope that times will change and people will listen to each other's more in the future.
Now, being a participant for IGF for almost 15 years, I've seen how it develops and more people are diving in, more interests and more perspectives are coming to the stage and to the workshops. It's really great. IGF, is a key part of the global multi-stakeholder community and discussions. It has grown to become that. It is open, it is inclusive. We work on that all the time to keep it open and inclusive. That's very important. And actually, this is about securing, the ongoing dialogue on how internet functions and how it actually can make our lives better. Internet is going to be for the public interest. That's what we're here for. It's going to give us better lives. So internet is the foundational layer of how we govern the society today.
Thank you.
And we then, and just growing challenges that we see. Let's unite to make a change for those.
Question, I want to ask you, how do we ensure then, because multi-stakeholder approach and perspective is so important, how do we ensure a balanced multi-stakeholder perspective? Carol.
So stakeholders are those who have a vested interest or concern in something. They may have the ability or the authority to influence or make decisions. Each stakeholder has a different perspective. That is, they have their objectives. And earlier we heard about they're having their own values. So it is important to understand and respect the needs and the requirements of each stakeholder. To achieve balance, it is critical to aim for a win-win consensus outcome. This means developing and maintaining an environment that respects diversity and equity, fosters trust, and recognizes, as the case of digital governance, that moving forward together for the common good is a shared common goal.
A balanced multi-stakeholder model doesn't happen by accident. It must be cultivated through sustained effort. At Ripe NCC, we invest in this model daily. From our bottom-up policy process to our active support for national and regional IGFs across our service region. We also build communities and trust through action. We have signed MOUs and joint declarations with governments and with the ITU to support IPv6 and routing security, to promote capacity building and multi-stakeholder internet governance. Ensuring balance means providing space, support, and shared responsibility, especially for underrepresented voices. It's crucial to have all stakeholder groups at all levels, local, regional, and global, to achieve a truly balanced perspective.
As somebody working for a government, of course, I can assure you that the government per se always takes balanced decision because it's more or less democratically elected. So we don't really need the multi-stakeholder approach because the government is already multi-stakeholder. And of course, that is unfortunately not true. So the more people, the more experience, the more facts you have at the table, that's step one. So these facts need to be there, the impacts need to be heard, the visions and the values of the people need to be heard because there may need to be some dialogue to get a consensus on the values, and then you need mechanisms to hold decision makers, be it from government or be it from industry or elsewhere, accountable. And this is why it is so important to have an inclusive multi-stakeholder forum like the IGF. And last year we were, some of us in Sao Paulo, where we agreed on the Sao Paulo multi-stakeholder guidelines, which gives some incentives and gives some concrete tools how you can actually measure the accountability and transparency of multi-stakeholder processes to balancedness, to inclusivity and elsewhere.
First of all, it's an effort year after year to keep it open and keep it inclusive and to look at ourselves and see if we get new people in to join the discussion. And of course, you know, it's about regional representation, gender, age, transparency, and also transparency of the system. IGF can be some difficult, you know, to look into and to manage and to maneuver. And hopefully, if we are progressive enough to keep and to let new people in, I think we can have a lot of new and interesting discussions because we have new challenges. So we have to keep it open and to be sure that the workshops that we open up and who can dive in and who can come with their ideas, that we're open for that. Yeah.
Digital governance must be built on strong foundations. The foundation is the internet itself. You have a unique responsibility, I'm making this personal now, but also a powerful opportunity to lead through collaboration. Work with the technical community, not only when crises arise, but continuously. Involve us early, invest in capacity building, and defend the legitimacy of multi-stakeholder spaces like the IGF. The Internet's strength lies in its shared ownership. If we want a digital future that serves all, we must build it together with openness, trust, and cooperation at the core. Together, we shape the future of the Internet.
Well, as somebody who lives in a country where normally not the government or the parliament have the last word, but the people, because they can vote on anything and say yes or no, my experience is that in most of the cases, the results are better if you have a participatory not just decision shaping like the IGF, but also in the end decision making mechanisms, because people are forced to take sides, they're forced to be interested, they also know that they will face the consequences. Whatever they ask for, they may actually get it. And I can only encourage all decision makers and government leaders to use the wisdom of the people locally, nationally, internationally, involve them in a discussion, try and come up with balanced solutions. They are more sustainable normally.
The multi-stakeholder dialogue, you know, government has a very important role for facilitating and so on, but also now through IGF and other multi-stakeholder dialogue, the government doesn't only have to speak, they can also listen, you know, and get advice. Thomas. And it's a space where policies can be tested, you know, challenged, improved, and IGF can also be used to bring in national experiences from each country and for governments out, in the world, and to share, as we're supposed to do, and we do today, also on stage.